So I did something crazy and I bought what I think might be the ugliest piece of furniture that I've ever flipped. Seriously, you guys, I can't wait to get a look at this thing. But you know what they say, one person's trash is another person's treasure, right? So today I'm going to show you how to take this eyesore of a piece of furniture and we're going to transform it into something stunning. At least I hope I do. Hopefully by the end of this, it's going to be a piece that has everybody saying, wow, where did you get that? Either that or we're going to throw it in the trash. Let's see what happens. I bought this piece from an estate sale for the bargain price of $13. It was sight unseen, as you could probably tell, but I think I can make this into something fabulous. I'm not quite sure what was going on the top here. There's a lot of strange damage on this piece, but we're going to flip it. I'm fully aware of what I've gotten myself into. That's why this has sat in my garage for so long, because this is a beast of a project. I know right away there's a lot of repairs that have to be done. It's going to bleed. I'm going to have to prime it, probably more than once. I want to try a new finish on it because I think that's what's going to sell best for this one. This is super dated. The hardware's got to go. Can't put these handles back on. Y'all screamed at me in last week's video because I put the handles back on. I know. But these are not going to stay. So I got a lot of work ahead of me. Let's get going. I've already got Simple Green in the bucket and some warm water. I'm going to clean this thing really, really well and then take the hardware off so that I can still open the doors and everything. This whole thing needs to be scrubbed really well, so it's not bothering me that the hardware is not off just yet. I'll get to that because it's going to be tossed anyways. So let's get this guy clean. If you have the tools, one of the easiest ways to make a piece more modern is to remove dated details. So I just used a ruler and drew some straight lines to remove these curvy pieces on the bottom with my jigsaw. I sanded smooth the part that I just chopped off here with the jigsaw, and I got a little crazy because a lot of this is just failing finish. Like on most of this, it's just failing finish. I touched it with a sander and it's gone. But I don't want to sand this to bare wood. I just don't. That is not the vision I have for this. I know that's really trendy and in style right now, but I just did a piece like that last week. I don't want to do that again. I know it came off easily. I will resist the urge to sand this all the way down. I will resist the urge to sand this all the way down. I'm not going to sand this all the way down, but we're just going to trudge on through. It's going to work. So I am missing some trim pieces here, and I'm going to use the little glue stick trick to make myself a new piece of trim, especially since I am planning on painting these doors. It won't matter. So let's get that going. I've covered the good piece of trim with hot glue. Now that the hot glue is dry, it's time to just gently start to pry this off. I'm using an X-Acto knife very carefully and just lifting up the edges of the glue. This should all come off in one piece. Now that I have the mold for the broken piece, I'm going to mix up some Bondo, which is a 2-part epoxy putty, and fill in the mold. I'll let that dry about 2 or 3 hours just so everything is set, and then we'll begin to pull that out of the mold. This finish is coming off really easily. That's because it's already a failing finish, so it's barely taking anything just to get through this and get this off. I'm a little worried about some of these deeper gouges. I don't want to have to pay for the price of those later. So since this is going so quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and remove this failing finish just from the top. I'm not sanding. I am not sanding this buffet. But on the top, I'm definitely going to take this the rest of the way down, because I don't want those scratches to pop back up on me. And it's just easier this way. You could Bondo this or use some wood putty and fill them all in. But since this is just coming off like butter, we're just going to keep going and get this off the rest of the way. I gave the rest of the piece a nice scuff sand, and now it's time to remove the Bondo from the mold. I'm covering my mold in some Gorilla wood glue, and then I'll attach this to where the broken pieces were. You definitely are going to have to prime this to make sure that none of this red colored wood seeps through the paint. It's called tannins. That's the official word. But it's the red stuff that seeps through the paint after you're done, and you never want that to happen. So we got to make sure that we prime this really well. I'm going to use my favorite primer. It's the Purple Can by Sherwin-Williams. I'm going to roll this on with a foam roller, and it's probably going to take about 3 coats. So this might be the only thing I get done today, but it's really important to do that. So let's go. My first coat of primer is done, so I'll cover up the paint tray until I'm ready for the second coat. Now that I've primed it, the little nicks and dings and scratches are really sticking out on this. I'm going to go for a textured look, so this doesn't have to be totally perfect, but I still want to fill in like some of these bigger gouges that this thing has. So I'm going to be using, I love it when my neighbors drive by when I'm filming, they think I'm just in here talking to myself. I'm going to be using this glazing spot putty. This is Bondo. It works great. You don't have to mix the 2-part system like you normally do. So I'm just going to put this in the bigger nicks and dings and scratches that are going to show up even with that textured look that I've got.
Well, I battled the heat for as long as I could. It was 100 degrees every day this week in my garage, and now that it's time to paint, I'm gonna move this guy inside. For today's project, I've chosen the color Sage Advice from Country Chic Paint. This is the perfect paint to use indoors. It is a clay-based paint and it is low VOC, so it's perfect to apply with a brush. I'm gonna use a roller today as well. You're gonna see how well this goes on, and usually it only requires 2 coats for full coverage. And this is the coverage I have after my second coat. It looks great, so I can move on to the next step.
So I'm doing a new technique today that we're gonna try. So I'm gonna create more of a grass cloth look on this buffet. I did the Pottery Barn finish in the past, and I'll show some clips of this as I'm chatting with you all. And so it's gonna be similar yet different. It's gonna look like a closer weave. And to get this effect, what I'm going to use is Country Chic's white glaze. So this isn't clear, it's white. And then same large deck brush. This is a deck staining brush that I'm going to apply the glaze with. But this time, instead of using that husk broom, I'm using a plastic scraper. And this makes the, or it's a plastic bristle brush. And this makes the little marks much closer together. And you'll see as we put this on. So what you want to do is apply a heavy amount of the glaze first and then wipe off as much as you want. I have lots of paper towels handy because I'll be using those a lot too. And then once all of this is covered, everything's going to be in the same direction. I'm going to go back in with this little plastic bristle brush and make all my little fine detailed lines. And I'll follow the grain pattern on every piece around here. And then by the time we're done, this should look pretty neat.
It only takes one very thin coat of the white glaze to do this effect, and as always, I've listed everything I'm using today down in the video description. This faux fabric technique is perfect for pieces that have minor imperfections. The texture on this really helps hide those, so if you have a piece that you're not looking into restoring, this is a really fun finish to try and it's super easy. Just a few different brushes to create the textured look helps take this finish over the top.
It's very much trust the process. When I first started, I was like, I don't know about this. But as I go along and it starts to dry, it's really looking cool. So I think this is gonna work. I'm excited about it. The inside of this, it's pretty bad, I know. So there's a few things that we could do. I have sanded this down just a little bit to see if I could get rid of some of these watermarks and stains that are in here. And then I'm going to be using a product called Finish. It's in mahogany, so it's gonna match the inside. The other thing you could do was to prime the entire thing on the inside and paint it. And then you could also just do wallpaper, peel and stick wallpaper on the shelves. But I'm gonna stick with the most cost-effective thing. If somebody wants to add peel and stick later down the road to something that matches their home, well, they can do that. But let's try the Finish first and see how much of these water circles I can get out of here. This part's actually pretty simple. I'm just gonna use an old sock. I've got a glove underneath so it doesn't go through and stain my hands. And I'll just take a little bit at a time and saturate the sock. And then go over these circles, trying my best not to touch my paint. You can see what a difference this is applying already, just from one simple coat of this. So I think this is gonna work. Final steps, I'm gonna put on the top coat. This is Country Chic's top coat. It is in a satin finish. It is great to use indoors. So I'm just gonna brush this on. We're gonna do 2 coats on the top and then we're ready to put on the hardware.
One last look at this old beat up buffet for $13 from the auction. I knew this would be a fun one to try something new on. I like the direction this one took, especially when I see how much these grass cloth cabinets sell for on Pottery Barn. I love this textured transformation. I hope you guys enjoyed this makeover as much as I did making it. I love seeing these ugly pieces turn into something beautiful. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss a flip. And hey, what is the ugliest piece of furniture that you've ever seen? Drop me a comment below. Maybe one of these days I'll find another really ugly duckling out there and we'll choose that as the next project. Thanks for watching, you guys, and remember that every piece of furniture has some real potential behind it. So until next time, keep flipping those lemons into lemonade. I'll see you next time.